Lesson number 2, Shotcalling Basics. Alright, if you watch this video, it's because you already passed the step 1, which is basically how to set up your Screaming Albion for and also all the UI for shotcalling. On this video, we're gonna go over all the basic cooldowns, things you need to know on the very start for shotcalling, also keybinds for TeamSpeak and Discord, and how to act on certain movements. Okay, so first thing, shotcalling set. And that's pretty much is about personal preference. The most common shotcalling set is the one that you're gonna see right here. Clerical, Judicator Armor, Hunter Shields, and Soul Scythe. Many people also use Hodges. Many people use 100 Mace. I'm gonna tell you my opinion about it, okay? Step by step. First thing, you wanna have it. Clerical is the only spell in the game that I'm gonna make you invulnerable for a good amount of time. So basically, a Clerical gonna prevent you by dying on certain situations that you can pretty much click a button and you won't gonna die, gonna allow a healer to grab you and heal you. Second thing is the armor. Why people use Judicator Armor? It's simple. It's just because Judicator Armor is the armor who has the most flat armor in the game. So let's say the Guardian Armor or any other armor in the game, it has less armor per tier because it's an artifact. So you also want to have Judicator Armor. Simple as this. Many others use Demo Armor. Many use even Guardian Armor. Judicator Armor for me is better just because we have more flat armor. That's it. And before anything else, for me, the concept of calling is pretty much the guy who throw the calls. So you don't need to worry about make a clump. You don't need to worry about use your armor in the right time or be successful at the engagement. Basically, the caller need to pay attention on what's happening around him, and also on being alive for let the Zerg do what the Zerg needs to do. I see so many calling more words about making the clump or more worried about playing the game instead of looking around. When you call, there's so many things happening at the same time that I cannot believe most of those guys are doing, like making the clumps and trying to do gameplay himself. Why have more things I need to worry about? So for me, yes, you need a clerical, that's 100%. The shoes and the armor, it's pretty much up to you. I like hunter shoes because the shoes who move the fastest in the game, so it's gonna make you leave certain situations that you don't want to be in, and also be the first one on the front for make position for your Zerg. Mardlock Cape is the better for sure because the resistance it gives to you during 5 seconds when low HP can save you a lot of the times. And I like to use Soul Scythe for two things. First thing, it has good movement speed, so the kill it's allow me every 8 seconds to reposition myself or leave a club or interrupt certain type of spells, which is really good. And the E, it's exactly 30 seconds. So for the ones who don't know, it's the Zergs usually have cooldowns in 30 seconds. So if you take a look on the Brimstones, if you took a look on pretty much all the DPS's weapons, super weapons, most of them gonna be the cooldowns between 20 and 30 seconds. So having your E at 30 seconds is gonna make your life easier to count when you're gonna have cooldowns or not. I see many callers just saying, hey, go in, go in, go in, go in. But the reality is, his Zerg won't gonna have the cooldowns. So before we go into the cooldown, the callings, so basically that's the set. You always want to have a clerical, you always want to have a Murloc cape, a plate armor, doesn't matter which one. I prefer the Judy armor because it have more resistance, and a tank weapon because it's going to give you more HP. The same, it also has mobility speed. Okay, that's it pretty much. For food, you can choose two. You either choose Avalonian omelets or sandwich, and that depends on pretty much your Zerg. If you have a really good Zerg, like a A tier Zerg or S tier Zerg, you can go for Ava omelets because the cooldown gonna be a little bit lower when you use Ava omelet. So instead of counting to 30, you're gonna be counting to 27 or 26. But why I need to say you need to have a good Zerg for it? Because we need to understand there is a react time to people. So let's say you're counting down, guys, we're gonna engage on north, and 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, boom, you engage. By the time you engage and throw your E, your people, and that matters on how experienced they are, they're gonna have the cooldown between you telling them to do and they actually doing your request. So if you're calling a high tier Zerg, highly recommend Avala Omelette because it's gonna make more room to you to. This 2 seconds gonna make you room to do different plays that the sandwich don't allow, and also it makes you a little bit squishier. But if you run sandwich, it's pretty much you're gonna have the flat 30 seconds. So you're gonna basically always have the cooldowns with the rest of your Zerg, even if they are delayed. Understand? And also give you more health, which is pretty much gonna make you alive. Like I said, a good caller is not the guy who make the biggest clump. It's not the guy who are well positioned. It's the guy who is alive telling the Zerg the right things to do. Simple. That's it. Good caller is what leads the Zerg the best things to do. So if your Zerg is learning, if it's not a really good Zerg, sandwich. If your Zerg is good, have omelets. Boom. Simple as this. Okay? Now let's go into cooldowns. And you kind of get it, something that I want to say to you. Basically, all the DPSs or all the things gonna have a cooldown between 20 and 30 seconds. So if I use the omelet, it's gonna be 26. If I have a sandwich and use the sandwich, it's gonna be 29 to 30. Okay, and now the lesson is how to know when you can engage and when you cannot engage. Okay, so let's say you're holding right here, your enemy is north, and you're gonna do engage. Guys, we're gonna engage on northwest, on the puppets on northwest. We're gonna do 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, boom. Your Zerg engage. And then you always wanna use your E or any other spell with 30 seconds cooldown on the exact time you ask it for the engage. I'm gonna explain you why. Because when this countdown get to 0, is the time your Zerg gonna have engage again. But paying attention. You look 4, 3, 2, 1, 0. But what you gotta understand is you can ask for the engage a little bit lower than this. Because, for example, if I use a sandwich, I know it's gonna be 30 seconds the cooldown on the E. So, boom, full 30 seconds. I know when this cooldown shows 5, I can start getting ready. So when it shows 5, I say, guys, be ready, I'm gonna engage in 5. And you can go with the cooldowns of the E. It's not when the cooldown is up, but you can go like 4 seconds before, and this 4 seconds is gonna buy you some time for engage again. That's why I say about the difference between the sandwich and the omelets, because if you have a good Zerg, the Zerg always gonna engage exactly on your cooldowns. But a not good quality Zerg, they're gonna take a little bit longer for, choose the sprint and etc. And that's important. So again, good Zergs use Ava omelets, not super good Zergs, sandwiches. How to track your cooldowns? Always based on your E's, or it can be by your shoes as well. I personally like the E from the soul side, because I know when I throw this, in 30 seconds I'm gonna have cooldowns again. And about cooldowns, you also need to pay attention on your enemy cooldown. So let's say the other color from the Zerg, it's like, for example, me. I know when the guy gonna engage, I'm gonna have a 30 seconds room before he engage me again. So let's say my enemy is engaging now. Boom, 30 seconds cooldown. He did engage. I know I have 25 seconds pretty much to counter him back. So for example, I'm gonna do sprint just for count. Then we engage on him. Boom, damage get drop and everything. I know I still have a 14 seconds, so I need to reposition myself, because when this get to 0, it's because my enemy gonna engage again. So always have the tracks, 30 seconds. And how can you do it? It's not so simple. But basically, you need to count on your head, basically on based on your cooldowns. So let's say you are the first one to engage. You engage first. It's 30 seconds. The cooldown usually gonna come 5 to 7 seconds after you engage. So your enemy gonna engage again on you, and they come engage on you. You know they're gonna have cooldowns before them here, right? So when this get to 0, we're gonna have cooldowns. But 7 seconds after it, the enemy also gonna have cooldowns, so you gotta be careful on it. So let's say you gotta engage it now. Boom, you drop your spells. When this get to 23, your enemy gonna have cooldowns, so you gotta reposition yourself pretty fast, and the enemy have cooldowns right now. And there is also possible that all the Zergs on the map as well. So let's say you have two enemies, the guys with the northwest and the guys with the northeast. Let's say the guys on the northwest gonna engage now, 30 seconds. And then after this, the guys on the northeast gonna engage now, 30 seconds. Then let's say this. I know when my boots get to 0, these guys on the west gonna have cooldowns in 30, and those guys on the east gonna have cooldowns in... No, the guys on the west gonna have engage, and the guys on the east is still gonna need to wait more 10 seconds. So it's basically a cooldown timer that you're gonna have, you need to have on your Zerg. So what is important to know of this is to get advantage over your enemy. So let's say the enemy engage first and he miss. All you need to do, you have a 30 seconds room, so you can tell guys, we're gonna move towards them, we're gonna go towards them. So you walk towards them, get a good position, boom, engage on your enemy. After you do it, you can say guys, we're gonna start backing up. Now you back up, and the enemy won't gonna have cooldowns yet, so you're gonna get a good position and they're gonna try engage on you. If they miss, that's a perfect spot, because now you can walk towards them again, and them he don't wanna have cooldowns, and then that's when you wipe your enemy. Or for example, if the enemy engages on you, you know have at least a 25 to 30 seconds cooldown before you go again. So that's pretty much our track. It's like chess. Like there's window of time that you can do certain things, right? I don't want to overcomplicate it you, but basically just understand that 90% of the Zergs have this cooldown from 30 seconds. So if you see your enemy sprinting towards you, you know he's not gonna engage you again during this 30 seconds period. Or for example, if you have two enemies on the zone and one engage now and one engage in 10 seconds after this moment, you will have 20 seconds window to reposition or to attack somebody, and you can use all this mixed information to put your Zerg on a good position to hit the certain guy. For example, if your Zerg is on the south and you have enemies towards the northwest and the northeast, these guys northwest they engage on you and they don't have spells. On those guys northeast they have it. What you want to do is you're gonna position yourself close to the guys on the west, so you can engage on them, and the guys on the east don't have angle to hit you by the bottom. So you have a good position towards the west, and you basically, have yourself covered by the other Zerg, then kite towards the enemy, have the less engages. So enemy northeast engage. Boom, you come south. Then you can come here, engage on them on the northeast. Then instead of moving back south, you don't do it. You move east, because the guys on the northwest gonna have cooldowns. So it's all a chess. You gotta position yourself on a way that gonna put your Zerg less. How can I say this word in English? You gotta put yourself on a position that the enemy don't have the power to get you from behind. So always track the cooldowns, and that's the magic. When you see like callers fighting against 3 or 4 different Zergs, it's because they're counting. They know, for example, Blue Army is on the left and Money Guild's on the right. I know if Blue Army engage me on the west, they not gonna have cooldowns on the west, and Money Guild have it. So if I stick between them two, I'm gonna get hit by Money Guild as well. So I go to the left, I get behind Blue Army, I engage on them, then I kite to the west, because if Money Guild try engage on me, I'm gonna be between them and their allies, for example. So they need to go all the way, and that's buy you time. That's the importance to have all this knowledge about the cooldowns and also for your Zerg. And that's pretty much it. So have it in mind. 30 seconds is it's the general timer for any Zerg. You can count the enemy Zerg cooldown by your Zerg cooldown. So if you engage first, the enemy gonna engage after you. Usually 7 to 10 seconds. So you know, if you engage first, boom, your enemy gonna engage 10 seconds after this, or 7 seconds after this. You know you're gonna have a 10 seconds window after, before the enemy have engaged again. It's always like this. If you're fighting different Zergs, you need to pay attention every enemy engage. I'm just using the game UI as a tip, like I do, but you can also do your own mind. You know, this guy's Wonder is gonna have engaging about 20. You don't need to be exactly, you just need to position yourself in a way you don't wanna get hit from many people. And that's pretty much it. I hope you guys enjoyed. I see you on the next video. On the next video, I'm gonna talk about composition and how to study on calling.